Hi, this is Slimedog,
And Topo.
and today we're playing Road Rage on the PS4. Road Rage is a kind of reimagining of the old Road Rash series that EA used to do. It was just classic on the 3DO, one of our favorite 3DO games.
It is my top 3DO.
It's an amazing 3DO game. It had a killer soundtrack and really great action.
That was my introduction to the Road series.
And we were super excited to see how it's been updated for the PS4.
Well, some of us were super excited.
Oh, you weren't excited? I was excited to see how it was going to turn
Well,
out.
there's this image. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so the long and short of it is, it did not turn out great. There's definitely a lot to be desired here. They had sort of a cool premise to it, but it really feels sort of like they rushed it out the door at the last minute, because it could have used another, couple of months of polishing for sure.
Well, I just ended up in a big boulder. I was stuck in there.
Yeah, last game we did, you got stuck in a rock, and...
Yeah, so that was cool. I apparently landed in it from the top, so I was surrounded by it, so I couldn't actually leave it.
So you were stuck.
And I couldn't ever get up enough speed to crash myself either, so I also, despite my enormous turbo button, still could not manage to crash myself out of it either. So that was interesting.
So the long load times are...
Jump off that ramp. Jump off that ramp.
Let me get this story out of the way.
I've got a hot run for you.
This hour?
Yeah.
Every time you start the game, you're kind of given the most recent story thing on the pager. And one of my favorite, one interesting thing about the undercookedness of the game is the stories a lot of times don't line up with the missions that they give you. So they'll talk about, like, hey, you've got to go run this race, and your mission will be go beat up people. Or they'll talk about all these people that you have to beat up, and it'll just be like a regular plain old race.
Oh, is that a knife? Oh, I guess it's a knife fight.
Oh, yeah, that's a type of event, so you can actually do that if you want.
You can do whichever one you want.
Oh, never mind, I gotta switch bikes and do that if I wanted.
This brings up one of your interesting takes on the game, which is if you go to change that bike, you will end up who knows where in the map when you come back out of the menu.
Yeah, like here I am at this mission, and it takes, you have to be riding this particular bike, and have 8 upgrades to do it. I'm not going to pony up the upgrades on that, but even if I wanted to, or if I had the bike, if you switch bikes here, it'll drop you off some other random place in town. So let's do this one, because this is the thing. Mud Fear. Again, I don't have the bike for this one, but I don't have it. I'm not riding that bike. But what I can do is you can
show
start.
The example of how this.
Go to the clubhouse, motorcycles. Here's the bike that I needed. This is the first bike you start with, which brings up another kind of complaint.
Yeah.
The bikes are all more or less identical, like stat-wise. So there's really no point in upgrading bikes unless you need to do a story event and it requires a specific particular bike.
So cosmetic mostly?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can upgrade them. Like here, you can add extra parts and such. But
is that permanent then?
It is permanent for that bike.
Handy.
Like here, I'll bump up a couple into this. Actually, let me just match the sound of one here.
You got a little.
Notice how long, like, you click the button on anything, and long load time. Like, it's just pause. It's
like they don't realize that you hit that button in like 30 seconds.
Well, I think what it is every time you make a change or whatever, it has to stop and save it. It does a 5-second save, but real games have figured out how to let that happen in the background. Whereas this game's like, well, we ran into a bug one time where it tried to save 2 things at once. And so to get around that, we'll just stop the entire game while you save instead of actually facilitating the player.
Okay, so here we are.
So here I am on the bike that they wanted me to change to, and now
okay, well, not too far from it, please.
It's over here.
It was over there.
See, this is frequently an issue. It's like you have to change. It actually has a nice smooth frame rate, and the levels are adequate. Like the city area is kind of adequate if uninspired, but like there's just not a lot of
back up. Well, you can back up. L2 is back up. R2 is drive.
And back up.
We're on the PS4. Was this on any other system?
Maybe.
Circle is hit right.
The Xbox.
And square is hit left.
Here's your turbo boost. Watch this. Turbo boost.
Woo! that was. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I wanted you to back up. Well, I wanted you to show that billboard. This is part of the uninspired city thing that he's speaking of. There's some,
They have billboards and advertising, and
there's graffiti. There was that graffiti over there that was, and there's some businesses that are okay, kind of cute, but like
that
right there up
one's
up there. This one right
an
there.
ad for mobile game. See, some of these burgers, but it's got a hot dog at the sign, so
Huh.
go figure. I guess it is hardly burgers, so maybe that's why.
The
Addictive mobile crap video game. If you can read the fine print, it
Addictive
says
mobile prep play now 100% free with an asterisk and at the bottom where it says
girl seen an advertisement not included in the game. Game features apes, dead ugly orcs, or game features apes, dead ugly orcs, male humans, and old witches.
awesome.
It's actually kind of cute. Like that,
that's
if that were,
kind of
they had time to kind of
clever
tune that up and make a lot of the
Oh,
ads and
there's
stuff
Shittily,
funny.
because we're in a future kind of thing,
Yeah.
like RoboCop when where they blocked off
Yeah.
Detroit and made it.
So they made
it's little
China
Soviet-
and Italy into the same zone because it's
But we're in.
like kind of.
But
I
the,
don't know.
the name of the
Vaguely
town we're in
racist.
is not Detroit.
Right
it's,
now we're in Subtroit. see?
Subtroit. Oh,
Right
there. we
there.
go.
And okay, so I'm gonna start this mission so you can see what the missions look like.
Right.
This
So
one's
those are some
I
of
think this
the-
is the checkpoint sprint, which is just basically just you go as fast as you can from one checkpoint to the next.
There you go. We've got the
It doesn't look horribly easy.
no. Is there anyone else? It's just me.
I believe this event is just for one person.
Oh, looks like it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
So, I am not, quite the pro gamer, but I am able to, like, again, the Road Rash.
Rash.
Always mix up with Road Rash. I was able to handle my bike just fine and hit people and everything, no problem. This game was 25 years ago, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
That one I'm fine with. I can do my good old Mario Kart and any of those other types of games, no problem. But this one, the handling on it is so bad. Well, I mentioned the aforementioned boulder.
That is
Woo! Okay, way to go. I got my whole story almost out
Keep
in
going,
that
sorry.
time. That was it. I mean, I was like, the handling on it is so not intuitive that
I've got a hot run.
At least it's a short one this time. The story quests are just various events done up and in the different areas. It's pretty quick. It moves along nicely. I guess it's not too hard, so generally it's not very often you have to
run
redo
from the
anything.
cops.
Here's a cop one, and this one basically you just avoid cops until the 5-star rating drives down to nothing, and then you win. The cops will try to run you over, but there's not a whole lot of them, and it's not like 5 stars in Grand Theft Auto where everything goes to pieces. You can see the cops are the little badges on the radar. That's drop the 3 stars. All you need to do is just sort of away. The cooldown counter is on the top of the screen. Once that gets to 30, it'll reset. And avoid traffic. Avoid blockades. Honestly, the cops that are held still at the blockades are harder to get away from than the ones that actually run at you. They're easier to hit. And whenever they've got a blockade set up, they've got like a spike strip set between them, except for the spike strip doesn't stop your bike at all. So,
So even though you got the cop right there, your star hasn't gone up to 3. It's still up to 2.
yeah.
Hustle it. That's right.
2 stars.
You've been at 2 for a while. But apparently it doesn't go back up. So once you get down to 2, it's not like, back up to 3, back down to 1, wait.
Yeah, I know I'm vaguely conscious that avoiding cops is the way to get your star rating down, but as far as like, do they have to be on the map, blah blah blah, like sometimes I've just been able to like run into somebody's yard and hang out there, and
Ta-da.
I lose. Did I win?
I don't know.
I won! Yay!
All
That's
right.
it. Let me see if I can find something where you can whack people. I'm gonna go whack so I can see the whack.
There's a purple and black. I think
I've
this
got
one's the one you're
yeah,
coming up. Oh, there is the red one up there on the right.
Yeah, let's do that. We can see. you just randomly clobber people, like that whole freeze time thing and the little bang.
Exploding head.
It seems kind of cool in paper, like, oh, that wasn't horrible, except for it does that same slowdown and that same thing every time you hit anybody ever. And by guy number 7,000, it gets pretty tedious. I'm going to the red one, right?
Yeah, I think if that's a
Yeah, I
that's
had
an
to
itty one.
go into this zone first. And yeah, that definitely looks like a more combat-y event. Let's see.
If it actually comes out, what it is.
Oh, I gotta switch bikes and upgrade the crap out of the bike. Okay, I have no idea to do that.
Oh.
Let me try this skull one. That's probably it. Okay, good. This takes. Yeah, it's an eliminator.
And last place is eliminated. Oh, it's that type.
But at
Not
least
where you
there's-
have to hit people, but where you have to go.
But at least there's other racers, so I can
not
hit
be.
them and
Yes, that's true.
demonstrate
The hitting.
aspect of it. Which in Road Rash is kind of the big thing that separates Road Rash from every other racing game in the world. And this game does do that, and see, like here? Got it. Oddly, sometimes you get a boost of speed and sometimes you don't, so there's not a whole lot of
Oh, and that's the
I died.
knockout. Oh, stay. We better hurry up.
Yeah, if I were serious about racing them, I'd just ignore the hitting thing because that
Yeah,
really
because
just
you really-
slows you down. Also, the wind up for the hitting people animation is so long that it's really tough to actually connect. There's like a 1 second delay by the time you actually hit them with your bat. The default AI maneuver is to weave around to make it tougher for him to hit, which does, but it also...
You're solid there first,
So I'm clobbering people like
so
crazy.
you gotta do
Yeah.
5 laps.
Yeah, that's... A lot of times the racing gets kind of tedious because, like, once you're solidly in first and no one's got any hope of catching you, you're
I
still
guess it's
racing.
not a big lap.
You know, once
That's
if I'm
not
actually
long.
trying to race and not, like, beat people up, it goes
It's not
faster.
as long. You do not need to help Butterscotch. Thank you.
Hey, the cat wants to help.
You really don't need to help. Thank you, but no.
Anyway, Road Rash was an awesome game for its time, blah blah blah, and this could have been pretty
Not
good.
even
Like,
just for its time. I mean, that's well, I
Yeah.
can make it for its time, but yeah, it was it was solidly made. I can handle the controls, no problem. This one is like.
well, and the
Maybe
side
it's gonna
missions
work.
don't really go away. It's not like you do the side mission and you're checking it off the map. You don't have that sense of completion. It's just thoroughly random. Like, you know, you just do it and get a little bit of money, which you don't need anyway because the bikes aren't as good as the bike you start with. So there's no reason to do the side quests. They don't have any story aspect to them. And the story itself is really glonky. The dialogue doesn't make a lot of sense, and
I watched the beginning story of this whole thing, like, and the world's taken over and they walled off these areas, so and okay.
yeah, it had this kind of Escape from New York vibe to it, which is what they were going for, but none of it really pans out. Like, the pedestrians don't react to you at all. You know, if you
Yeah,
clonk
people
somebody on the
seem to be
head,
walking
everybody else
around
just continues to, they don't react to anything. They just do their own thing.
For being a this no law area, it sure seems to have a lot of people just hanging out, rather pristine streets.
The turbo boost doesn't really make you go any faster. Like, everything feels like floaty and it doesn't really matter. And it's a shame because there's potential here. Like, if this were a nice, like, you know, Burnout Paradise style open world racer with events all over the place and you know, meaningful. Burnout really is. Also, really sucks that they're not making any more of those. But, you know, hey, they're making another Need for Speed, so there's that.
Also, there's Sunset Overdrive is another one of my favorites. It's not really
Okay,
it's
not a
not a
racer at
vehicle.
all.
Well, you go racing through town. It's got the same sort of running around time. But stop, Cat, stop.
It's a premium.
Oh, another one. Oh no.
That's okay. There's no real.
There's no one near
huge
you,
penalty. I'm so far ahead, thankfully.
Or you could crash 10 times. And it's not bad.
I'll only get another lap or two. After this, we can try some multiplayer. And
Then
we'll
we're going to
how
show
this
you the
looks
other, the one that stop rubbing on that computer. The cat. This is the cat talking to who's decided that you could rub against the recorder stop.
Oh, dig this.
Oh, that is awesome! It's right up there with the boulder.
I'll tell you what, this makes it a lot more challenging.
But also kind of cool because
Do your own
efficient-
fun mode.
Oh, you gotta do a whole lap like this.
Yeah, I can't
that's
see the road.
awesome.
Oh, I
dang.
did something. I
All right.
lost my fence.
No!
I want the fence back.
That was another thing I noticed. Like, you can plow through light poles, but you cannot hit a wooden fence.
The wooden
because
fence
that'll
is
actually
completely immovable,
destroy
but
you.
a lot of other objects in the game are just, made of air.
But apparently the metal fence is available for riding around with, to gussy up the bike.
Now, for die-hard fans, there's not a lot of, stopping you from clearing the game. You can play through it. The levels are relatively easy across the board. Might be one or two that you have to try twice, but, you're definitely going to make quick progression through it. That said, there's not a lot of content here, so this is definitely, make sure you buy it on sale. Even if you are a fan of Road Rash, you're going to be disappointed in some degree with this one. But, that said, it's, sometimes it's fun to race around in circles and attempt to hit people with a baseball bat.
I'm going to say as a single player because joining in was...
Yeah, the multiplayer really does not... Whoa, and
Oh, goody. It's your incoming call at this hour? Okay.
Okay,
Now,
so, multiplayer...
one other aspect we want to share is the, multiplayer.
They don't give you a choice of a lot of different tracks in the multiplayer, which
No,
is,
that
I suspect
was
because they've got areas where there's lower polygon count. They can't do the city on split screen because of all the textures. So I think you're pretty much stuck off in the forest where things are a little bit more boring. Well, I could. Oops. Okay. Sorry.
Alright.
I was trying to switch to a different mode and it loaded
So,
this one up.
Where are we? Are we back in the forest?
Well, we're
Because
certainly
that
in the
had-
forest. I don't know. Probably the pain in the butt one that you got stuck in the rock with.
It's okay. No, that one wasn't the rock. That was the easy one. Got me stuck in the rock, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, oh goody, I prefer to pick somebody who
Oh, also, it's got a lot of different characters to pick from, and they're actually voiced in the story, but it makes no difference how you pick as far as dialogue goes. So even if it keeps things from making sense, I was having a fun something. Oh, yeah, you got it.
I did not. Oh, I did.
Yeah, you did.
As I killed myself.
Good job!
Woohoo! Alright, well, I did one.
And
Let
now
me
we're
just-
gonna be... Last time we did this track, we were stuck in last place or something, so it's probably gonna be a thing. Is that you again?
Especially now, I'm solidly in sixth. Like you're crashing.
Oh, son of a... This is not a great one. The single player, well, in the city, there's a lot of arrows around maps kind of telling you where corners are and stuff like that. It's actually generally fairly helpful. In the multiplayer maps, there's a lot less assistance as to where you're going.
Yeah, at one point I just sort of
Also
kept driving
feels
into a
kind of muddy. I don't know if the...
I thought it was fog.
Well, yeah, it's fog. Oh my god. No, the bikes feel like they control really poorly. I don't know if
Maybe
maybe
that's
these are like
why.
stock bikes, as opposed to the upgraded one that I'm using in single player mode.
Maybe
But-
that's why, because
It does feel like I'm driving through mud. Oh, that's pretty.
the boulder's coming up. If I land it right, I can hit the boulder again. There, just so you know. We're back up.
It's interesting. I didn't realize that before, but yeah, it's really I'm turning and driving a lot slower and punchier in this one. So it must be that your upgrades don't.
It doesn't tell me I'm going the wrong way, so that's interesting.
Yeah, no, there's no wrong way indications. It's very easy on the races. If you get off the track, you can only rely on the checkpoint mark on the mini map to get back on the track. The tracks are generally not firm.
Got me on the rock. Anyway, there's my rock.
Was that when you got stuck on?
I was
Trying
trying
to
to get
stop.
myself stuck in there, but it's not easy.
Like,
Of course,
on
they
the-
are all copy pastes.
yeah, actually, there's several. Boom. And
In all fairness, I
said, I've been playing it for a few hours, and I still randomly crash into stuff because the game's got some really floaty physics. If you, like, you know, hit a border on the ground sometimes, it'll pop you 90 degrees to the left, and you'll fly into a wall. So, it's, you know, if it happens occasionally, it's not bad. This definitely isn't the greatest driving physics. Well, and everything is just not the greatest, right? That's kind of what it boils down to. The game could have been really good with some more polish. It's not like the concept is flawed, but the execution was just like, you know, hey, we gotta ship it. We're shipping it. Like, this is you know, a beta build if you're being, you know, generous and more like, but yeah, it was just every corner that could was cut. And I don't know the story behind it. Maybe they needed to do that. Maybe it was they ran out of money and they're shipping this week regardless of the state of the game. But I hope it was something like that and not just they were crazy on the spot.
Good enough.
Yeah. It always feels like good enough, but I'm sure there's more behind it. Yeah.
We always like to give benefit of the doubt.
Yes. Maybe there was like a terrorist. He was like, "You gotta ship the game now, or we're gonna blow up the school kids." And they were like, "Okay, we wanted to make it amazing, but we'll do it to save the school kids."
Yeah. I'm on lap 2.
Oh.
So, oh no.
CPU player 3 just whacked it.
Oh well, I hope we can finish the race.
Hey, I finished the race.
I have got somebody in there for a fun. Alright, woo!
Going off road. You're playing with
Oh, at least Mercenary and Topo Force both did 59.999.
Ah, yeah. Suck it, Mercenary.
It wasn't just me that finished last place.
And this load screen with the yellow chick gets really tedious. They use this everywhere. But,
Yeah.
see, there it is again. They've got, like, one load screen. Like, there has to be more production art that they could have used than just her. But, anyway, there you go.
I guess that's about all we have to share about it.
That is
I
entirely
mean,
fair.
if you get a chance to pick it up on the cheap and want to just sort of drive around a bit.
If you're a huge fan of Road Rash,
I mean, you'll probably be
huge fan of Road Rash, then
disappointed, but
yeah, maybe you can have a little bit of fun with it. Everybody else, stay away.
maybe.
Yeah, or don't. I don't know.
I mean, maybe have fun with it. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Oddly,
Slime's having a decent time.
I'm
with
still
it.
playing through it. I haven't stopped playing the story mode yet.
You do keep
so
playing it, and I have walked past the room,
Mhm.
but as he does so.
Quickly, usually, but that's not big.
I need some coffee. Okay, well, I'll see you. Have fun. Bye. Woohoo! Well, I guess that's that. Thanks
Yep.
for joining us.
See you next time.